Hello and welcome to Save Your Bacon, an advice comedy podcast where we think we're helping. My name is Will.
And my name is Zane, and just to show how much we care, we have paper master degrees in therapy taped loosely to our walls so you can tell we're both professional and self-sufficient.
Hey, yeah, I like that. That's very good. One of these days I think we'll have to do a better job of taping them up. Maybe a frame or something, but in the meantime, this works.
I tried stapling one to the wall a little while ago, and I realized that I also needed to tape the stapler to the wall so I could remember where the stapler was for when I needed to staple it to the wall again.
You know, I actually tried stapling my paper master's degree to the wall as well, just as an act of rebellion to my landlord. Nothing really else. That was the only thing. Okay, sorry, you can go ahead now.
I'm glad you got that out. So I got a question from one of my friends that I don't think we could go into depth on at all, but I still really wanted to read it.
Yeah, we can't talk about it, so why don't we talk about it?
Exactly. This question was from Casey Campbell, you the man, and he sent me, "How do I fix my parents? They stopped breathing." And his description.
Thank you, Casey, for your androgynous name and your disturbing question.
His description is, "A screwdriver? I went into the garage and found my dad's toolbox. I would ask him which tool to use, but unfortunately, he's one of the dead parents."
Casey, I don't know how to adjust this in a realistic way.
Exactly.
I once got told, Zane, did you ever have the teacher back in high school who every time he was our substitute teacher, everybody would ask him to tell a story about how he used like a pen cap in order to keep somebody alive. He sliced open their throat and put a pen cap inside their esophagus to keep them alive. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Not at all.
Really cool, small, elderly gentleman. Very nice. And every time people would be like, "Tell the esophagus story. Tell us the story where you sliced a man's neck open." And he did that. It just reminded me, because obviously you need the context, or else I'm just telling you to name your parents. Take the screwdriver, get a cutting, and put some metal bits in there, and I think that'll open up the airways. You said that the breathing issue is what's really going on here, so that might help.
I'm amazed that we just gave you advice, so you're welcome.
Oh, yeah. This is us not talking about it.
If you want to jump into questions that we can talk about, I've got a good question for you.
Oh, yeah. Do a second. I don't care. I don't need to do any.
No, I got your back.
You can just do the whole show if you want.
For sure. This comes from Reddit user Sir Skadoodle, and the question is, if Spider-Man was real, how thick does his webs have to be able to swing building to building without breaking under his weight? The reason I ask this is because the more I thought about it, so they're saying, how thick do his webs have to be so that they don't break off of him? I'm thinking, well, what about, wouldn't he just, pull the window off of the building that he's stuck to instead?
Man, this really gets us diving into the many plot holes that Spider-Man holds.
Do you ever play the old Spider-Man games where, his webs would just stick to the sky?
And it pulls down the blocks of the sky down on top of you when you start eating too much food. You swing into the cafes and have 6 deli sandwiches, and then when you try swinging up the next day before a bowel movement, you pull down one of the squares from the sky, or maybe a window from a skyscraper, because you reached a critical mass in which you couldn't swing from the webs.
You've now brought up a whole new realm of Spider-Man. So we're going to take out this idea of would he break the web from his hand under his own body weight and say, what theoretically can he get away with using his webs for that doesn't destroy the purpose or action he's attempting to?
Because he's strong enough to hold his own weight and swing at 60 miles an hour through the air. Yet when he puts it on other things, what will he destroy? Deli sandwich, gone. Bits and pieces, gone. Crumbs, shreds of lettuce flying. If you do this, you will have a sandwich pancake against the wall.
Teddy Spider-Man out there, do not try to Spider-Man up your deli sandwich. You will not get to eat it.
It's going to be tempting. You're going to be sitting in a really comfy chair, beer in one hand, and your sandwich you left by the TV when you turned it on because you can't find the dang remote, and you say, I should really just grab the sandwich that's sitting, underneath the TV with the webs. Don't do it.
You'll be sitting in the bathroom and realize that, oh no, shucks, this stall doesn't have any toilet paper. But in clear view across the way, you see more toilet paper, and you think, I could totally web up that paper and bring it right to me. Don't do it.
What's going to happen here is you see those Charmin commercials where they say the too soft toilet paper, where it just turns into like a big old like pile of dust as soon as you try grabbing at it. That's what's going to happen with your web. It's going to explode into a ball of dust. And you're going to be breathing into your toilet paper for the next 6 weeks.
Who cleans up all of his webs when he swings around the city?
Does Spider-Man have a little helper like Alfred?
He has a sidekick that is there specifically to clean all of his webs up?
Yeah. An Alfred of the janitor world who just is proficient at, not like really great, like not superhero status, but proficient at climbing up buildings to just kind of pull off the webs. How much force do you think it takes? Because he just like lets go of it at the hand area, right? Like, I mean, that's how that has to work.
Yeah.
How much force do you think it takes to just pull one of those suckers off the window?
To pull the web off the window?
Yeah, the other end. There's so many repercussions.
I mean, considering that the villains, like when they get strapped up, they can't escape the web.
And they're literally the strongest forces that are supposed to be destroying the city. Yeah.
Theoretically, the webs should not come off of what they stick to.
You're just having a littered city. I mean, it's safe, but man alive, the webs must be gross.
I mean, even take, for example, in the first Spider-Man movie, like when he sticks his web to the tray accidentally, and he can't get it off, so he just drags the tray all the way, like, up to the cafeteria door. Like, that man can't unhinge his own web from whatever he's attached to himself.
So who's going to be able to take it off the tray, or the window, or whatever it is, or the deli sandwich that is now pancaked against the wall? Who's going to be able to do any of that at any point? So what do you do with it? Do you burn it? I think that's it. You burn it.
You gotta burn the web. I mean, so if the question is, if Spider-Man's real, how thick does his web have to be able to swing building to building without breaking under his weight? It seems like if it's as sticky and as like hard to pull off as it is, just as thick as any other old spider web, it's just that the real question is not how hard is it to break it, is how easy is it to get it off afterwards, because
Get rid of it. Because now you're just burning things in the middle of the city on a daily basis.
You got to pull a Chicago during this negative 60-degree weather and set your train tracks on fire just to get rid of that spider web.
Goodness gracious, did that happen?
Yeah, the new Chicago fire is what I called it.
Of the loop. Oh no! Oh no! I'm so out of the loop. All right, I'm going to give you another question. How does that sound?
Thank you.
This comes from Jared, because I don't remember what username he originally sent me eons ago, and he didn't give me his username last time. Jared, thank you.
Thank you.
Jared asks, how long does someone have to be dead before it's considered archaeology instead of grave robbing? Oh, I said it wrong. Grave robbing.
Oh, shit, I fucked up. Just take me over.
Grave robbing. No, I wasn't even commenting on the question. I didn't get the word out.
No, we're sticking with grave robbing.
Grave robbing.
All right, first off, how hard is it to grave rob? Very hard. Didn't know it was a thing.
My dumb mouth.
I think technically it's grave robbing if you know where they're buried. And then
what's the point? Tell me this. I don't understand the idea. What's the point in grave robbing? Before we actually try to help someone.
I think legitimately it's the fact that some people are buried with their jewelry and their money and whatnot. And so people...
I've never seen that happen. Who does that? We're not King Tut. This is not the olden days. It's not following us to the afterlife.
I mean, first off...
Zane, is it following us to the afterlife? Are the jewels following us?
If you're Sonic, maybe. I don't know what the Chaos Emeralds do once you've died. But...
Okay. Topical.
Take Mr. Krabs, for example. He's got the right idea. When he grave robs, he's doing it because he's taking the hat to sell for loads of money. But, like, you know, it's the guy's hat because he was number one. So there's, like, conflict. Obviously, there's always going to be a ghostly conflict whenever you rob from the rich.
So the issue is not convincing the police that you're doing archaeology.
Oh,
it's convincing the ghosts.
Yeah.
And they're smarter than cops. From my experience, ghosts are much smarter than cops. And this isn't a dig against cops. They're fine and all. There's a wide spread of cops in our land. Winona ones, they're pretty cool here. But ghosts, they tricky. And they read your minds. Have we talked about ghosts before? We've maybe had a couple conversations about ghosts.
I don't know if we've ever had a conversation about ghosts, but I like the idea that you have to actually, like, have a whole conversation with them before you can get away. It's like the troll under the bridge thing. You got to answer these questions before you can get away free with it. If you rob the wrong grave, ghost's gonna come up and be like, now you got to answer my riddles 3.
Yeah, and I think the difference here is when you show up to do your grave robbing, you bring a paintbrush. That's what's going to set you apart, because the paintbrush, and hear me out, because the viewers can't see the face that you're making at me right now, but you bring a paintbrush because every archaeology set is not an archaeology set unless after you have done all the digging and scraping, you can take out a small brush and for the next 10 hours just brush all the dust away because you don't want to hurt whatever you're digging up. So you can dig and dig and dig, and the moment somebody starts showing up, you pull out the brush and you just start dusting. And this is going to work on cops and ghosts. It's that smart.
The reason it's going to work on both, it's going to work on the cops because they're going to see, oh, he's very clearly taking good care of the preservatives, so he's
This is not a robbery.
No,
this is
just clearly like a college major studying for his final. That's really all it is.
I'm not gonna get in the way of his studies.
And
exactly.
It's gonna screw over the ghost because the ghost's gonna be like, oh, this person doesn't want to steal my belongings or myself, just making me look good. After all these years, need a good tidying up.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've been into geocaching, but this kind of makes me want to get into archaeology all of a sudden.
Oh my god.
Next time we're back in town.
Can they make a geocaching that is all just archaeology, where it's geocaching, but it's finding certain bodies?
Yeah, well, oh boy, finding certain bodies. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do some archaeology to get the geocache in there. I was thinking you get some old bones and just kind of tape them all together and put a note on the inside of that and then put that underground. And so the tape is going to erode after time, but as you dig it up, you're going to have to dust it away. Otherwise, you're going to shovel right through that paper.
I can't wait until we invent this game. Actually, this might be the perfect time to announce that we have already invented this game and that you can download our app at zaneandwill@hotmail.com, where you will get 3 instructions on where you can find these good bones.
Bone Cache.
We call them.
Check it out. Check us out at Bone Cache. We made a Patreon, Bone Cache.
We even have a website, bonecache.net, because .com was taken because that's the website where you sell bones for cash.
Yeah, that one didn't work. It's with the CHE. Yeah, because Bone Cache was taken with the SH. I didn't really look up what it was supposed to be used for, but it's taken.
Okay, moving on. I got another question. You want another question?
I'll take it.
Okay, this question comes from Reddit user RayRay52, and the question is...
Thanks, Ray.
Moving out. Description. Can I walk out of my parents' house as soon as I turn 18 on my birthday? What I'm trying to say is, the question states, can I walk out of my parents' house as soon as I turn 18?
Oh!
This, in my head, comes across as... For 17 years and 364 days, you have been scared to death about the thought of leaving your house. And you're thinking...
Every parent is different. And your parents have indoctrinated you to think that you're not allowed to walk out the door. When I have kids, I'm going to tell them red is blue and blue is red. And they're going to just get their minds blown at a very early age. And learn to not trust me. It's going to be real painful when they start to make friends, but those are going to be some fun report cards coming home in preschool, is all I'm saying. You got to have fun with the kids. I think that's what these parents are doing. They've taught you that until you're 18 years old, you don't leave. You might have a shock collar that probably isn't even plugged in.
Yeah, happens.
And they tell you that, the school has the other key to your collar and can unlock it so you can get on the bus. But you probably are homeschooled by the sound of it also. And this isn't a dig against homeschoolers, but they're not letting you leave. And that's pretty indicative of you sit in a classroom and your mom teaches you about why you can't go outside many hours a day.
I got a story for you, bud, and I'm talking to the Reddit user here. Man to man. Mano y mano. I once went outside, and I know you have no idea what that looks like. Let me just tell you, it's pretty blue, and it's pretty dope. I got on my bike. I know you've probably never seen one of those. And at 16 years old, with a guitar on my back, which I play piano, I don't play guitar. I turned to my mom and I said, would it be cool if I just ran away really quick? And she said, don't do that. And then I took my bike about a block down, and then I said, mac and cheese sounds pretty damn good right about now. And I came right back home. And I said, Mom, I'm back from running away. And she said,
yeah.
Hungry?
Yeah, hungry? You ready?
So let me just tell you, within my span of outside running away and trying to get out of that house, at an early age, I'd say early because
Did you say 16?
Yeah, 16.
Did you say 16?
Yeah, 16. If you've got mac and cheese in the house, super worth just staying back and just kicking it and just enjoying some of that probably SpongeBob-shaped mac and cheese that you got rocking in that house.
Yeah, I have some actual advice here. So I've learned something. I live with a family. I live with a family of 6, actually, believe it or not, right now, and I'm not related to them. The father is just a really good friend of mine and invited me to come live with them for a while, and that's where I'm at right now. And I've learned from their many kids that every kid runs away. It wasn't just me. Every kid at some point runs away, and it's usually about 12 minutes. But they all do it, and once they're mildly inconvenienced by the sun or like they sit on a rock and their butt hurts, they come back. And it's usually not very dangerous. And I think it's really good to be like, all right, goodbye. Because that's what my parents said to me. They said, okay, go ahead, just look both ways before you cross the street. And I was like, sounds good. So everybody runs away. And in your case, it's direly important you try it once. Because I'll tell you what, air feels better outside. That's the biggest one. Air feels a lot better outside. If I sit inside for more than 24 hours, I'm like, I miss outdoor air. And the window won't cut it. So I go outside. I breathe it in, and then I go back and sit back in my chair because it's really comfy. But it falls very slowly. Have you noticed that, Zane, when we record? My chair, it slowly slides down.
And so does my mattress. It slowly deflates.
That's because you don't have a real bed.
You're not a real bed.
You have an air mattress with a hole in it. But run away. That's my advice to you.
If you're going to tell this person to run away, do you have any tips? Because they've clearly never seen the outside once. Do you have any helpful tips of all right, you're about to take on the outside for the very first time. Here's something you gotta know.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to take a cue from you, Zane. I'm going to say bring lunch. First off, I think that's what those red and white sacks you put over your shoulder were for in the first place.
Don't bring
just a lunch.
Don't bring uncooked mac and cheese because then you're gonna want to go home to cook it.
Yeah, that's something you got to realize. Outside, you can't cook. Well, not very well. You got to go somewhere special in order to cook outdoor food, and that's a place that you can burn stuff outside. Man, when I think about it, if you've never been outside, there are a lot of rules you got to explain to somebody.
Actually, if you live in the town where Spider-Man is, you probably got a lot of places that you could cook because they're burning those webs 24/7.
And I hear the web makes a nice flamey char to all your food that's really enjoyable.
Also, if you can't afford food, I'm sure there are a couple of flung deli sandwiches on some walls around town that you could take.
Scrape them off. They taste the same. They go the same place. Hopefully you live in the same town as Spider-Man.
All right, final piece of advice. If you live in the same town as Spider-Man, run away, no question. You've got it made.
Absolutely. Because you're probably part of the Spider-Verse. You're probably going to get hooked into his scheme, and you're probably the next Spider-Man if you run away.
Mm-hmm.
There are also cameras watching you everywhere you go, and you don't realize it. All right, I have another. Are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Well, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm actually going to give you our middle stuff.
Oh, gosh.
Our middle stuff is brought to you by our desire to do well. It's not brought to you by any sponsors. It's just our desire to bring you some really good entertainment. I'm going to tell you something, Zane. I got approached just this morning, actually. I was at a retreat, and somebody who I did not I've talked with a few times, but I'm not close with in any way, just came up to me and said, "Hey, Will, I want to let you know I really enjoy your podcast every single week. And I was like, holy buckets, that's the best thing you could tell me. Like, that's literally the reason that me and Zane do this, just to hear somebody who isn't a close friend of mine come up and be like, hey, on Mondays, when my Mondays are bad, that's the thing that makes it good. Because that's what they told me. And I was like,
Wow.
what? So that's super cool. And so we just want to say thank you, and that we only give you these plugs so that you have a way to interact with us. You want to go ahead and give them some plugs?
Yeah, of course. If you want to, because please, if you want to rate us or anything, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you can only rate and review on Apple Podcasts, but still, you can listen anywhere and you can share from anywhere. Rate and review, everything helps all the time. Also, the entire show runs off of your questions that you send us, that we receive, and we love to interact with you guys. You can email us at saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. That is saveyourbaconpodcast@gmail.com. Also, our Twitter and Instagram, you can DM us or just message us at Zane and Will. Both of them are the exact same, and you can use the hashtags SaveYourBacon or hashtag Zane and Will, and we can find you a lot quicker and easier that way. And honestly, like, it's crazy to see how every single week we can see the podcast interactions growing. Like, clearly we can see it growing and growing, which is really cool that you guys are getting involved a lot more, because the show's only going to get better if you guys get more involved, which is wonderful. I love that you guys want to be a part of it.
With that being said, I will give you a question. And that question comes from Sierra Dvorak. Thank you, Sierra.
Thank you.
Sierra asks, if corn oil is made from corn, and vegetable oil is made from vegetables, what is baby oil made from? Now, you may be asking yourself, is this advice? It's advice as long as it's going to win you an argument. And I think this is what we're helping them with.
It's also absolutely advice if you're a parent and you really need to know what the hell you're supposed to do with your baby at some point in time.
Yeah, because you're going to find oils. I'm going to give you the answer. There's oils. I don't know where. I'm not a parent.
Same.
But like I said, I live with little kids, and I've been told there are oils. And that's my guess for where this comes from. That's the best I got. I'm sorry to say I'm not an expert on the subject.
I'm not an expert either. There are baby oils and there are baby powders, right?
Yeah.
And then,
oh gosh, what a good point. Oh no.
There's a bad conspiracy that I feel like the longer we talk about it, the more someone's listening in on us. Like, we're starting to figure something out, and like we're now on a list.
They're getting it. Shut it down.
It's just like, well, I can't hear you all of a sudden. My screen's gone black. Will, do you hear helicopters outside?
Yeah, it's replaced by a man indoors with glasses on, sunglasses on, who's telling us, you know too much. Yeah, I thought that I don't even know if I want to say this.
Go for it,
please.
please.
This might be kind of gross,
please.
But if I help like one dude in the world with this, it'll help. So, when I was growing up, I always used Head and Shoulders dandruff shampoo because I thought I had dandruff, and it turns out I never had dandruff my entire life, and then nobody told you that there's an opposite of dandruff, and by taking dandruff shampoo you make it worse. So all you need to do is like moisturize instead of use dandruff shampoo, and then all your flakes disappear. And I lived in anxiety throughout all of my entire childhood because I have dark hair, just worrying about all these stupid flakes, and nobody could ever tell me. So here's the thing. In that, what I'm trying to get at here is when a baby has dry skin, you're going to get the baby powder. And when a baby has too oily of skin, you're going to get the baby oil.
Wait, all right.
That's kind of like in Pokemon, you're going to have to choose which baby you want, the oil baby or the powder baby, and you're going to have to mistreat them. You're going to have to mistreat your baby the correct way in order, you're going to have to choose which baby you want, because if you oil up the baby's head too much, it's going to start producing baby oil. And you're sounding, why don't you just use the oil? Because it isn't baby oil. And we know the baby oil is better than other oils. It's not, You can put vegetable oil on the baby, and eventually you get the baby oil.
Right.
Or you could dry the baby's head off. I don't know. What are the techniques for drying out a baby's head too much?
If you apply olive oil to your baby, now you've got the baby oil going. When people say that they've got baby oil, that's just a Ponzi scheme.
It's really just a quality of your baby. It's really just saying, it's like saying my baby has influenza. You can say, I have baby oil.
Yes, the two things that you want to brag about with your baby, whether it has baby oil or whether it has influenza.
I mean, yeah, it was an example, but yeah, I can brag about it. Influenza.
My baby is actually...
Read it and weep.
My baby has actually got 1 million followers on Instagram, so you could say that my baby is a social influenza.
Social influenza. Yeah, okay. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Laughed.
I heard
we
it.
Cut it out.
We all heard it.
It was really long and annoying. I wheezed a bunch. But I'm not going to wheeze now. So it's okay. We can keep these ones in. But yeah, I think we can finally decide. It's kind of like a startup process. You put oil into the baby, you get baby oil eventually. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Sierra.
Exactly. Yeah.
Zane, you got a question for us?
Yeah, I absolutely do. All right, this question comes from Reddit user Grand Ghost Gamer, and the question is, can we get infinite electricity with bug slaves?
Bug slaves.
You ever seen A Bug's Life?
Bug's Life?
Yeah.
Do they show slavery in that movie?
No, I'm just saying, imagine if they were our slaves. Could we get infinite electricity?
But could you imagine? Do they have slaves in the movie? No, but could you imagine if we did? I hear there is more mass on the Earth in just ants than there is humans.
What?
Yeah.
So are we implying if we got a human-sized pile of ants to
I'm
run...
just saying, that's just ants.
Yeah. So
You know
let's say we got, all of these ants came together and formed the shape of a human, as an army of ants might do one day, and started running at human pace on a hamster wheel to generate electricity on one of those machines, as one does. Would they generate more electricity than we would?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because they're stronger than us, right? I mean, I don't want to get into the conversation of, ants are stronger than us.
I don't even have to think about
so
this.
much
Yes,
more.
an ant is stronger than me.
Well, okay, shut up. But, okay, but, shut up. So
let's jump away from ants into lightning bugs. The ones that we all believe for some reason legitimately have electricity surging in their asses. Right?
I mean, I kind of get it. I kind of get the difference between bioluminescence and electricity, but I'm pretty sure it's still electricity.
So when this person asks, "Can we get infinite electricity?" I don't think they're asking can we get some bugs to have a circuit going where they can generate it forever and ever, because their lifespan is limited just like anything else. I think they're implying is there a certain source from lightning bugs that we can copy?
Harness.
Yes. Yeah. Can we harness the lightning bug's ass?
When I was a kid, okay, harness essence of Firefly. When I was a kid, I thought about how you could take a dandelion and rub it on your arm, and it would put the yellow on there. And I thought,
yeah,
man, that'd be even cooler with a firefly. So I took it and smashed it all over my arm and started rubbing, and it didn't do anything. I was a monster. That's the whole story.
Did you ever, as a kid, catch a lightning bug in a jar?
Yeah.
And you just thought...
And then smell it, and then you force your sister to smell it.
Oh, God. But then you've got this light in a jar, and you're all of a sudden, I understand how electricity as a whole works, even though it has nothing to do with how electricity as a whole starts to work. But for some reason,
Let's make a new podcast just talking about how wild bioluminescence is.
Do you think? Imagine the kid and the grandpa from Up and all the balloons that are tied to the house. Imagine that you have exactly that much area of balloon in lightning bugs.
Okay, here's a real thing too. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, and I'm gonna say yes, and you create an ecosystem, kind of like we have ant farms, but that for fireflies.
Yeah.
All over your home in places where you would actually have lamps normally.
Yeah, and if
they can just live normal lives inside these big old capsules that we make, and then we can light up our houses that way.
Exactly, and if you can give them the ability to reproduce, they're not gonna die off. They're gonna be living their happy old lives.
Yeah,
Plus,
we play good music. We have good lighting, aka
we're only gonna play Firefly.
Fireflies.
We're
We
only gonna play Firefly.
Bound City because Fireflies can only get it on with that song.
And we're gonna have exactly 10 million Fireflies within our house. You would not believe your eyes if 10 million Fireflies lit up the world as you fell asleep. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah. People are going to walk in. You're going to have some guests over and be like, dang, this makes me want to get some Fireflies together. They're going to be like, wow, this would be really good atmosphere if I had some Fireflies. But it's terrible for humans. I'll tell you what, I'm going to wear earbuds all around the house because Owl City's playing just again and again. They're going to start coining Fireflies like they're doing it like a firefly because they just do it so much with our atmosphere that we create. It's no longer going to be rabbits. We're going to revolutionize. I think that's what we call it. We make a new product and it's called Doing It Like Fireflies.
Doing it like Fireflies is sweeping the nation. This is the way of the future.
And all of a sudden I felt very uncomfortable about you wouldn't believe your eyes when 10 million Fireflies were simultaneously doing it.
You would not believe your eyes if 10 million Fireflies just
were doing it in your home. Okay, we gotta put that in.
My microphone fell over. All right.
Zane, we can easily call this You Wouldn't Believe Your Eyes when 10 million Fireflies were simultaneously doing it in your home. All right. I hope we helped you. We created a business to surrogate the love life for many Fireflies. This next question comes from username Too Much Fun, Too Little Time. Mm-hmm. They say that time flies when you're having fun. As of recent, I've been feeling like time has been moving much too quickly because I've been having too much fun lately, right? In order to slow down time, I have to make the Earth spin slower, right? Do you think if I could convince everyone on Earth to run the opposite direction that the Earth was spinning, the Earth would slow down because of the increased force opposite that of the direction the Earth is spinning? Or do you have any other ideas for how to slow down time?
If we're running clockwise, they say let's have everyone run counterclockwise.
Well, see, Zane, if you do that, it will turn into a large hamster wheel. You're going to make it go faster.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to get to. That's why I was like, is that what they're saying? Okay. So if we're spinning clockwise, we all need to run clockwise. Right?
Yeah. Question asker, you're a big dolt because if we ran the opposite direction,
dolt.
We'd be running into a whole bunch of water. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't work the same. I've tried water aerobics. Thank you, Mom. It didn't, you don't get much force, you don't get much power, and that's 2/3 of our globe. And so, if you start doing this, you're going to hamster wheel, and you're going to have a lot of drownees, is what I'm saying.
This brings, and you're going to lose a lot of your momentum if you lose the people. Then it's just not going to be as eventful as you want it to be. It's going to be a whole thing.
Emotionally and physically.
It's going to be a whole thing.
Momentum emotionally.
A weekend mess is what we call it. A mess of a weekend.
This is a Holocaust waiting to happen.
That's a good reference. All right,
Thanks.
This is like the same question of if you got everybody in one area to get up on a chair and jump off the chair at the same time, could we push the Earth out of orbit? And the answer is no. We couldn't. It would barely budge.
Will you smush the Earth a little bit? If everybody got on a chair at the same time, and they jumped off and hit the ground, could we smush the Earth a little bit?
Could we smush it? And by smushing it, would we slow down time?
Yeah.
Of course.
I think that's the question. Okay, so the way that physics works is that if you have a larger object, it actually spins slower even though it has the same amount of force, right? Something like that, right? So I think we need to blow up the Earth.
Right. I'm listening.
Blow up the Earth like a balloon. Not like a bomb, like a balloon. So that it is larger, so that your days are going to take so much longer to happen. And I think you get more time in that case.
I've heard this theory that if you go to space, time slows down like a lot. And if this is a personal thing, you feel like you're missing out, you need time to slow down, do you need to just slow down for just you? Because if so, have a nice little relaxing trip up into space in one of Elon Musk's Teslas and just drive around the solar system for a little bit. Just go on a late night drive. Late night drive's clear everybody's head, but go on a late night drive through outer space and just like a 10-minute drive in space. And when you come back, it'll be 2050 and like so much shit will have changed. And I just realized that this is
doing
gonna
the
be the
opposite.
opposite of helping
You're
you.
doing the opposite. Yeah,
But
you
at
know, my
least for
favorite part of
yourself,
buying all this money that we've gained up over all of our podcasting career over what is this, episode 6? Yep. Over these last 5 episodes, we each got Teslas, which is pretty cool. My favorite thing about buying Elon Musk's Tesla is that I get to leave orbit whenever I frickin' want.
And I think it's very important that the listeners know that when we say Elon Musk's Tesla, we mean we bought the first one he made off of him. Like,
They're
not ones
autographed.
that he's making. Not.
He autographed it in a pen that doesn't come off.
Yeah.
Which is super cool, too, because he made that.
And then he also tattooed my arm, but it says Telsa. He spelled it wrong.
That's the worst, but it's really unique.
He
and
also
which is-
wrote, "Sorry, I spelled it wrong." Also in tattoo.
Yeah, and when an archaeologist finds that later on and like down the road, it'll be like a really interesting, quirky thing to tell stories about.
It will be, because they'll have had to find me while I still had skin, and that would be a really interesting, quirky thing for them to uncover as an archaeologist. Okay, so if this is the theory, if outer space is going to make it slow down time when you get back to Earth, all you got to do is dig to the center of the Earth. Because then, this is the perfect solution. I'm just realizing this. 5
You're
minutes
barely spinning.
5 minutes in the center of the Earth. When you come back up, like after let's say you spend like a half hour down there, like a second of time has passed on the surface. So now you're good to go. So like now, if you really just want to like, I need to just chill and listen to like my favorite podcast, and I'm not even referring to us if it's not us. Do whatever you got to do. Maybe you just like a smooth jazz channel on like FM radio. Whatever is your preference, I don't judge. You get down there, you listen for like half an hour, you come back up. It's still Family Feud is still on. You haven't missed a single thing. Steve Harvey's still doing his thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like what you were saying also earlier about going into space in order to slow down time. And I think the way that works is if you're traveling fast enough in space, by the time you get back around, time is just completely warped. And so I think what we can gain, we don't have to even do that directly because we know that you don't have the podcast money that we have in order to buy Telsas.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the moral of the story here is the more you speed up your lifestyle and just do everything much, much quicker, the more it's going to seem like everything is slowing down. Right? So I think you need to gain a busier, more hectic, stress-induced lifestyle in order to feel like you're really slowing down and getting life to its fullest.
Yeah, I think for 1 a.m, we both probably summed that up as best as we can get out of our systems. I've got another juicy question if you want to end on a juicy question, Will.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I like that.
All right, perfect. Speaking of this is the opposite of juicy, by the way. The question is, how do I remove peanut butter from the knife?
Oh, gosh.
And there is a description. I eat peanut butter once or twice a day, and I use a knife to get it out of the jar. The dishwasher doesn't remove the peanut butter from the knife. The pressure from the faucet is not enough to get it clean. Using a sponge or brushy thing just moves the peanut butter from one location to another. Using my fingers works, but I have to wash my hands like 3 times to get them clean. Using a paper towel works, but I don't want to use so much disposable waste. What do I do?
I think we get into a bigger question here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a peanut butter thing. It's a mass idea as a whole. Mass can never be destroyed, just like peanut butter can never be removed. Peanut butter is eternal, and I've learned that on the other end as well. I don't think me and peanut butter are friends.
All right.
I don't think we have been. I think it does some stuff to me, is what I'm trying to say. Which seems like a really mild thing to be really messing with you, but I feel like I've learned my lesson.
Peanut butter has it out for the people that try to get rid of it. I think peanut butter has an agenda. It has a hit list of it keeps track of those that tried to get rid of it. Because like every sane person would do, even though it's a knife, I think you would lick off the rest of the peanut butter.
Was that never was that not in the question? Was that not a, I'll lick it off?
That wasn't one of the options. Was lick
been
it.
Screamed at by adult figures in my life for trying to lick peanut butter off a knife. Because if it's a butter knife, I even still will get yelled at because there's on the off chance that it just scrapes up your tongue a little too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But like with the sharp knives, I feel like a true rebel. I am getting to my utmost core of rebellion when I'm like licking the peanut butter off of a sharp knife. So I get it.
Exactly, it's a rebellious phase type of thing, licking knives because they got peanut butter on them. Peanut butter is there to teach you how to be the rebel, the 16-year-old outlaw rebel, I don't give a bother type of man that you were always meant to be. Because if you don't lick that knife, then all you're doing is you're just finding healthy solutions to everything in life, and that's not going to get you very far. Peanut butter is very specifically there to teach you how to, every now and then you gotta live life on the edge, on the edge of the knife.
Peanut butter is the gatekeeper for all bad decisions, and Zane is so good at knowing exactly what happens right after you do that. Zane, what is it again?
You need another surge of whatever to shoot through you. You need that. You need that surge to run through you, and that is jelly. You gotta put jelly right into the bloodline.
All right, we're getting a real wholesome answer here. I like this.
Because girl, you a snack. And you've got the peanut butter in you. Now you got to jam in the jelly.
okay, Zane.
But with the syringe. But don't share needles, even if you were using
syringe.
jelly, because that's not safe. You don't want to mix grape and strawberry.
To in the eyes as you inject rhubarb jelly into your bloodstream.
How did you pick rhubarb out of every kind of jelly?
It was the first thing that came up. Grape wasn't an option.
Grape, strawberry, peach. Downside to jamming a syringe of jelly into your arm. You will become at least 20% jelly. Upside. You're at least 20% jelly now. Have fun with that.
Where does it come out of? Does it stay in your system forever?
That's like asking, where does blood come out of your system? It's part of you now.
Oh, dang. That's a really good answer. Where does the blood exit as a male? That's all we got, folks, tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate our talk about bad blood and PB&J sandwiches. That's not the title. Don't look at me like that.
No way.
No way. We had too many Firefly jokes for that to happen. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We're getting this far through. We are so happy that you are here with us. This is, once again, episode 6 we're bringing out, and man, that's just so cool to say. We were just talking about a couple days ago how cool it is that we're just like, wow, we're already here at episode 6, as small as that may seem. Just so, it's just an awesome thing to be able to be here.
Yeah, again, everybody, please just keep interacting with the show, because we love you guys so freaking much. You have no idea. This entire show keeps thriving the exact way that it's thriving because of your questions and because of your generosity to listen and to share and to review it, and just the fact that there's already some kind of community around this is glorious, because everything about, we know that we're making somebody's day better just by being our ridiculous selves, which is perfect. It's the perfect life, to make someone happy by being ourselves. So thank you so freaking much.
Zane, the emotion that we share late at night, I think, is our only redeeming quality in our recording tonight. And man, is that cool.
Oh, neato.
Neato. The one thing we can give is the impassioned pep talks at the end of our podcast that told all of our viewers how much we passionately love them. So thank you guys once again. My name is Will.
My name is Zane.
And this has been Save Your Bacon. Have a fantastic rest of your week.